welcome. Welcome. If this is your first time, we just want to welcome you to Conversations with Celena. I am excited about tonight and sad all at the same time. So, we have to try to keep our energy up and the enthusiasm going. Just if not, we will be sad. So we want to try to bring awareness to suicide so that we can put a stop to it, put a stop to the stigma on mental health, put a stop to the stigma that it is not okay to ask for help, because it is okay to ask for help. And so hopefully you'll be able to get some benefit from this episode. But what I do want to say that if you're triggered in any type of way, please reach out for some professional help. And I will put that disclosure down at the bottom because we don't want anyone to be triggered. So before we move forward, I just want to say happy birthday to everyone who had a birthday on today. I also want to say, please continue to lift up the Hart family. I just saw some disturbing news right before we went live on tonight. So just keep the Hart family lifted up in prayer. So with that being said, we're going to get started on tonight's episode, which is suicide awareness. So go ahead and share the video, and we're going to go give our friends and family and supporters of Conversations with Celena a moment, and then we'll be right back. Hey, Sunshine. Welcome, my Sunshine family. Come on over here and meet a few of our friends, our family, and our supporters of Conversations with Celena. Meet the beautiful for best results, Tammy Valente of Valente Real Estate. The most adorable candle master, Gloria Antoine Newsom. Woo child. MJ's always homemade. Yummy. Introducing the inspiring international author and speaker Maya Scott of thebloodblocked.com. Jewelry, $5 fix with Hester Henry. Go forth and prosper with Tamaya Livingston, doing business with excellence. Let your beautiful trusted realtor Marsha Gant help you across the country. For inspiration, motivation, and information, follow Conversations with Celena. Thanks for watching, Sunshine. Thanks for watching, Sunshine. So we just want to give a shout out to all of our friends, our family, and supporters of Conversations with Celena, because if it were not for you, we would not be here. So thank you so very much. Hello there. There she is. He says, hello, Sean. Thank you all for joining. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up our special guest. We have Miss Calissa Hinton. Hey, Calissa.
Hey.
We have Vanessa. Hold on a second, y'all. We'll be right back. Hang on. We have Miss Connie. She hiding her face. She was good enough to come on, and we are so thankful for it. So her camera will be off because she is in a situation where she is not able to show her face. So, Calissa.
Yes.
I'm going to let you go first, and then I'm going to show a couple of the people who are no longer with us due to death by suicide. We're gonna let you get started, and then I'm gonna put you on solo, and then we'll be right back with Connie and Vanessa's input after you. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna remove myself too, and I'm put you on solo, and then we'll be right back. And you can just share the statistics and things that you have from a professional standpoint. All right, baby girl, you got it.
Okay, we're on now? We're live now? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Calissa Hinton, and I work for the State Department of Mental Health, Mississippi State Department of Mental Health. And my position in mental health right now is I'm a case manager for the mentally ill. And my job duties are I ensure they have everything in the community. And I'm going to just go on the record saying this, I'm not a licensed therapist. However, I have connection to all therapists around Mississippi, but this is just from a professional standpoint or working in the mental health field right now. So, the topic we're going to talk about is suicide awareness. And I think right now, everybody is in kind of an uproar about suicide because of what just happened recently with Mr. Twitch. He was a famous dancer, choreographer, um, and he committed the act of suicide. And I think right now a lot of people is trying to figure out, okay, what are the signs of suicide? What should I be looking for? How does it come about? And just dealing with mental health in general. Well, from a professional standpoint, looking at his life, I say there are really no clear signs of suicide because looking at this person, he looked happy on the outside. He looked like he had everything going on. They just celebrated their 9th anniversary. He had a new show coming out. They were trying to have a new baby. All that on the outside looks good, but we don't know what he was dealing with internally. So, some of the classic signs of suicide, um, little or too much sleep, being irritated, being anxious, um, going through depression and anxiety, um, dealing with different circumstances, financial circumstances, life circumstances, your job, maybe, any kind of mental disorders, schizophrenia, paranoia, depression, anxiety, not getting enough to eat. Like I said, not getting enough of sleep, um, discussing that you're going to kill yourself or kill other people. Those are the classic signs of suicidal thoughts. And most of the time, people who have mental disorders, they are clinically diagnosed or put on medication. And from what I've seen about Mr. Twitch's life, like I said, everything looked good on the outside. And that's something we do normally. We normalize what we look like on the outside, but we never talk about what's going on in the inside. The information that I researched and found out 1 in 5 people will have a mental disorder in their life. And if you are dealing with anxiety or depression, you have a mental illness. According to the DSM-5, anxiety and depression is considered a mental illness. So if you take anything for anxiety or depression, you actually are clinically diagnosed with those things and have a mental disorder. And like I said, most of the clients I deal with, as far as the state, they have schizophrenia, paranoia, depression, anxiety. Most are on medication. Some are not. Some can just deal with it and they just need the services of the state. But most are on medication. And from what I've seen over the year and a half I've been there, is that if you do not take your medication, if you may have missed a dose of medication, you are likely to have an episode or two, depending on your diagnosis. So, just to look at somebody or to try to figure out, are they dealing with suicide? Are they dealing with depression? There is no certain look to mental disorders. There's no certain look to suicide. The best advice I can give you about trying to, I guess, figure out or trying to see if someone is dealing with suicide is to just check on them regularly. See if they're okay. Because a lot of people are not going to address that they have a mental disorder. A lot of people are not going to address that they are dealing with something on the inside. Our best advice to people is to check on your people, check on your strong people. Everyone is not strong all the time.
No
And
one
that's
is
something,
strong all the time.
no, and that's something that we don't do all the time. We think everybody is okay because they're smiling and they're cheesing for the camera, and they can be crying the next moment, but you're not
Mhm,
going to see it. You're not going to
mhm.
see it because they're not going to tell you. And I think a lot of the stigma there is in the African American community is that we don't believe in therapy. We hear the classic phrase in our growing up in our houses, "Oh, we go to church. We don't do therapy." And that's something as
Mhm.
African Americans we have to get out of. We have to get out of that stigma, because if we keep suffering from that phrase, we just go to church, we ask Jesus, we pray and do this. You can't pray everything away. I'm sorry. You cannot pray everything away. Some things take medication, some things take talking to a therapist about.
And some things take all of it.
Yes, yes,
Had a medication and
yes,
talking to the therapist and crying
yes.
to get it out. But I just wanted to say, because I literally did not know this man until just a few days ago. And it feels like I have become obsessed with him a little bit, just because I'm like, look at him. He is dancing, he is smiling. No one has a negative thing to say about him, about his
Hmm.
attitude, about what the words that come out his mouth. It's always he's love, he's light, he's encouraging.
Hmm.
And it's just really hard to wrap your mind around the fact that
Yep.
where and when did this happen? Like, and it was so quickly and so suddenly. A lot of
Hmm.
times people don't always talk about it, because if they're
Yep.
talking about it, they're not really doing it. But he,
Hmm.
some of the other ones just reacted immediately. And so it could have been
Yep.
some previous trauma. It could have been something
Hmm.
financial that I heard, the rumor was maybe it was something financial that had just come up. We don't know.
Hmm.
We never know. The note that he left behind is very vague. But at the same time, he has a beautiful life, a beautiful wife, a beautiful family, even talking about, like
Yeah.
you said, increasing that family. And so
Yeah.
if you don't know him, it doesn't even matter. Like, you
Hmm.
automatically love him. Like, I love
Yeah.
him, energy, his family. Like, I feel like I know him already because I've watched it over and over and over, just trying to figure out.
Yes.
I mean, when you watching him and the way that he
Yeah.
looks at his wife, you could tell that he loves his wife, he loves his children, he
Hmm.
loves Ellen, like just what he did. And it's such a heartbreaker,
Yeah.
because it
And
definitely.
for men primarily, they're not gonna express what they're feeling
Mm-hmm.
because they deal with a lot of pride. So, like women, we're more nurturers to the man, but the men are more prideful. They're not gonna express what they're feeling, so they're gonna hide it. They're gonna hide it.
Mm-hmm. Well, he definitely did a great job at hiding it. I'm going to ask Pastor Connie to come on because you made a statement that you can't pray everything away. So we have a pastor on the line. So you were our professional. She's our spiritual. Vanessa is our personal. So, Pastor Lyons, what's your input on this topic?
I agree with what y'all are saying about men, or they hide things. They're not emotional creatures by far. And but the thing that I do say, I heard, I'm gonna see what your name is again. How you say that,
Calissa.
Khalees?
Calissa.
Um,
Calista.
you were saying that when they don't take their medicine. I deal with bipolarism, depression, drugs, alcohol, because I'm an outreach pastor. So when I have I oversee a soup kitchen, and so what I noticed, some of them that say I'm going to kill myself, just like Sunshine said, normally, they're crying for help, but they really don't do it. I agree with Sunshine as well. I think Twitch caught everyone off by surprise because he was just so much fun. I've watched him all the time because I watch Ellen's show. But there was something that took place last week here in Bay St. Louis. There was a young man who was going to prison, and he called the police, and his father called the police, and he told the police details. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to hang myself. And they were like, well, there's nothing that we can do to help you unless you do it. And he was like, I attempted, it just didn't go through. The rope was too long or something like that. Well, he did that a couple of times, but on this last week, he called the police and he told them, and I was sharing this with Miss Sunshine. He told the police, he said, by the time you make it here, because he knew how far the sheriff department was from his house, he knew how many minutes it was, and so he said, by the time you get here, he said, I'll be dead. You guys wouldn't help me. I wouldn't send me to wherever the hospital, whatever he was trying to get to, and they was trying to talk him down. And so all of a sudden, the phone hung up and there was a silence, but they knew that that phone was still going because they could hear um, something in the background. And so, sure enough, by the time they got there, he was dead. And I was telling Miss Sunshine, he wrote on his chest, "Do not resuscitate." And because he wrote that, they could not give him CPR. He wrote it on his chest and he marked it in black mark. And it was so sad because I'm like, here this person was crying out for help and he was told, we can't do nothing about that. That's just like basically hearsay. So it is so sad. And we have to have an ear to hear when people are crying out. And we can't just say that, oh, they just kidding, they don't mean that, or they drunk, or they high, or whatever. And it's sad when it happens anytime, but it's something about this time of the year that it just hurts. For what people have said, it hurts even greater because it is the holiday. So I don't know any other thing to say, but it is sad. It's a wake up call, and I am like anybody else. It can happen to any of us. I smile, and Miss Sunshine noticed I smile on a regular basis. Probably if something was like that to happen, I would probably fit that category because I'm always one that's smiling. But we have to stop it. When we have a problem, we have to find that one person to reach out to. And we have to be able to voice that pain and that inner wound. We have to seek help. But when we don't, and then we end up killing ourselves, and it's like, what happened? I don't think we'll ever know the whole truth, to what happened with Twitch and other people. With and I do know what drew that young man to kill himself. He was going to go to penitentiary, and he was going to go to penitentiary for over 50 years. They had already sentenced him, and he would have been going to prison this coming week. And so I guess before he went to penitentiary, he just decided, well, he'll take his life. But the sad thing was, they did not help. They did not reach out because they said they couldn't do anything about it. So I think mental health. Then we have another incident where the two police, y'all probably heard that, where the two police officers were killed just what it was, a Thursday or Friday? Thursday. And then the young lady, she they said that she killed herself, but I found out today, because I'm very close to a police officer that goes to my church. He let us know today that she did not kill herself, that one of the police officers she shot and killed, he died right then and there. The other one, she hit him, but he was still alive to pull his gun out and kill her. And we also was told that she was very mental deranged, but she had an assignment. They have not said exactly what that assignment was, but that she had an assignment and that she was going to take several people out in this town in Bay St. Louis. And so that mental distress that people are going through is real, it's relevant, it's true. And I just hope and pray that people find that one. I also had an incident that happened to me many years ago. And this is why I pick up my phone. I pick up those calls. I had a friend, we was out partying, and he called me. He was like, Connie, come over here. Him and his girlfriend had broke up. And I didn't want to go through it, but I stopped over at his house and I listened to him, and he didn't want me to leave. We both worked at Stennis Space Center. Awesome young man, had a lot going on for him, making 6 figures plus. And we talked a little bit on the way going home, and I'm like, we got to be at work. And he was like, well, call me back. And I called right before I got into my house, and he kept calling my phone, but I was like, I am not going to do it. I will talk to him in the morning. I got to sleep a few hours. And that was like 4 or 5 in the morning. We had to be to work at 7 o'clock. And by the time I got to work at 7 o'clock, there was police calling, people waiting for me on my job because I was the last person that he talked to. And they wanted to know, what I knew. And all I knew was that the girlfriend broke up. And that day, and that's been 20 something years ago. From that day, I said, I will pick up that call. The only reason why I won't is because I missed it. I'm on the phone or something is going on. But I try my best to pick up calls, especially if I know someone is dealing with something that could potentially, cause them to harm themselves or harm someone else. And so that's my story. And it's sad. It's really sad.
It is very sad. And I am a witness to the fact that she does answer the phone. And if she's not able to answer, um, she calls you right back quickly. And it's so appreciated because you need that person. Like she said, you have to find that person that you can call, that you can talk to, that you can rely on to be there, because a lot of people don't have that person. So in this season, this is a seasonal affective disorder time of year, and it starts around the fall and it gets worse during the winter months. And then when spring and summer hit, it's not as prevalent, because in the winter it's just dark. You're not getting the sunlight that you need. And it's like Pastor Connie said, the holidays, so many people, they get down and out during the holidays. They've lost loved ones, which makes it extremely difficult to deal with when you do not have your loved ones there to celebrate the holiday season with. So, let's just take care of ourselves. Let me see if I could play this video. Let's see if it works. I didn't try it beforehand. So it was real short. I only put a few people on there. It went kind of fast. Let me do it one more time. I'll do it one more time. I don't even think Twitch had a chance to be up top. Let's see. So, those were just a few people, but they looked like, appeared to have it all going on. Like you would think no financial issues, no self-esteem. I mean, because they're handsome, they're beautiful, just so many things going for them. And when you look at their social media, it's happy, it's light, it's loving, it's encouraging. Look at Robin Williams. He made us all laugh. Twitch danced himself like every single day. He and his wife, that was the life that they lived. The second slide was who Pastor Connie was talking about. I put the lady up there because I knew that there was a possibility that the bullet was the one from her gun, but they wasn't for sure. So she's confirmed that it was the police officer. The officer, the officers to fire a shot. Autopsy. Hold on a second, because that's giving me some feedback. There was an autopsy that they were waiting on the results. So it seems like that she did die by the bullet of the police officer, by the gunfire of the police officer. So that last slide said to be kind. We're all fighting a battle that someone that you don't know about. Like we all are. It didn't say some people. We all are going through something. It's just some people situation seems to be a little bit more severe. Their coping mechanisms are different. It could be overwhelming because it starts to hit you from the left, the right, the front, and the center. And so, be kind, listen, check up on your friends, check up on your strong friends, check up on the people that are smiling all the time, because those are the ones that are trying their best not to break down, trying their best not to check out, And so instead of pulling on them all the time, check on them. And I mean, for real, check on them. Not hey, how you doing? Whew, I'm all right, and then the conversation completely goes to you, because if that's the case, you didn't really call to check on them. So you have to ask those open-ended questions and not the closed-ended questions, so that you can engage in conversation. And then sometimes you still are not going to truly know, because it takes a while to get into that deep conversation, because people have to know that they can trust you first before they open up to you. So allow that safe space for your friend, whether strong, weak, whatever you think that they are, but just allow that space for them, because we're all going through something, no matter how you're perceived, whether it's weak, medium, or strong, we all going through something. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. I think this one is just Twitch and his wife. Hang on, and then we'll let Vanessa tell her testimony, and we'll be right back.
Now that you're gone, every day I go on, but life's just not the same. I'm so empty inside.
All right. So I just had little short clips that I wanted to bring forth. It's just so sad for me. It is. It's so sad for the world. All right, Vanessa, come on. What you got for us tonight as in reference to suicide awareness and prevention, signs, testimony? What you got for us?
By the way, my name is Vanessa. I live in Poplarville. I had 2 episodes of suicide in the year 2014 and in the year 2022. And in 2014, I had shielded myself away from society. I stayed home. I stayed in. An incident happened, and I didn't want to be around nobody. So I sat at my apartment, and I had some pills, and there was a knock on my door, and it was one of my mom's best friends, and she came in and she asked me what I was doing, and I said I had no need to be here. I was felt like I was a threat to society, so I began to open the pill bottle, and I couldn't go through with it because she talked to me and she told me if I were to take the overdose of pills, it would not only affect me, it would affect the family that I had and the loved ones that I had. And she called and told my mom, and then my mom called and talked to me, and my mom said regardless to what, if I have no one, I have her by my side. And I know now that my mom is my strong supporter in all that I go through, even though some things she's not pleased and I'm not pleased with, but still in all, at the end of the day, my mom has been and is right there by my side. And at the beginning of this year, some stuff had happened in my life again. And I still felt that I was a threat to society, to the workforce, and to me, myself. And I contemplated it. But January the 8th, I went to the Chapel Heart concert. And I can tell it wherever I go. Miss Sunshine was at the concert, and my body was there, but my mind wasn't there. And when she came down the stairs, I looked in her face and I said, I need to talk to you. Not knowing what was going on with me, but it was that week and that day that she talked to me, and we became close. And I opened up to her after several occasions of visiting at her home, and I told her what was going on. And she encouraged me to go to the doctor to seek and get help and not to worry about what people say, think, or feel about me. And that it's nothing wrong with taking a medication. So I began taking a medication, and now I'm better. And I have went on to go to school after 17 years, and I had went to 5 weeks of 5 days of school. I had an accident on September the 28th. I totaled my car, but October the 10th, I was able to go to class without a scratch, a cut, a bruise, a burn. And I went 5 weeks. I went to CNA class. I took both skills tests and that skills exam and the written exam. And I'm now a licensed certified CNA thanks to my mom, to Conversations with Selena, my prayer partners, my pushers, my encouragers, my motivators. It's too many to name, but they know who was in my corner. And I can say that until you get to know who you have, you'll never know. And you're not the only one that's going through it. Someone's going through worse than you. And just because it's dark and gloomy on one day, the sun will shine again. And I can
Yes.
attest to say that the sun will shine. It has shone. And I know God has a better plan and a purpose for my life. So now I'm just staying focused, staying firm, and believing God for greater and for better. And so
Wow.
I tell anybody that when you feel the need to talk, don't be afraid to open up, because your voice does count and it does matter. And everybody's not out to hurt. It's people out to help. And it's not always your close friends and your family that you can go to. Sometimes it's that stranger, that blessing that God sends. And we have to know when to depict and when to decipher, because I was one that didn't I had trust in a lot of people, but through life, I learned not to trust nobody but God Himself. And I have a small circle. And it's nothing wrong with a small circle, but you have to know who and whom you can talk to, because everybody don't have you to heart. So I've learned to lean totally and trust and depend on God, because without Him, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So I do thank God for my family, my friends who have stuck by and who are still sticking by me through all that I have been through.
That's
Wow. That is
amazing.
testimony. Go ahead on, Mamiti.
I said that's amazing testimony, and I'm so glad that you do have pushers, you have prayer partners, and that Miss Sunshine was there, because so often people are not there, or they could be physically there but they don't have time, and they kind of push you to the side, like I did, to my friend, because it was just like, I'm just tired out, and then it's nothing I could do to get it back, get that time back. I wished, um, that I could have got that time back instead of pushing them to the side. Suicide is real. So that's a powerful testimony. Keep sharing it with people and don't be ashamed of it. And I'm just glad to know today you are here to live and talk about it.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I, I passed the mic.
You passed the mic. So, yes, I just want to encourage you to continue to tell that testimony. It's going to get better and better every time you tell it. You'll add some things to it because it depends on the situation and the environment that you're in, but you can save somebody else's life with that testimony. Because once we become okay with sharing our vulnerabilities and just be transparent, that is when we really, really start to be impactful and influential in other people's lives. It's when we try to hide that, we have issues, hide that we're going through, hide that we're having financial problems, hide that we're having marital problems. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And that's what we need to get away from. We shoo and kiki and talk about people so much and be so judgmental. No one wants to come forth about what they really got going on. And so we got to stop just saying, oh, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to tell your business, and really be that person that someone can depend on and rely on and confide in. And it just starts with us, but so many people have been hurt and they've been, what's the word, betrayed. They've been betrayed that they just don't, they want to shut down, like they don't even want to tell anybody. So let's start to change what it looks like, and provide that space. So I'm glad that I was able to be there for Vanessa earlier this year, because I'm telling you, those pictures, except for Robin Williams, everybody else, that happened in 2022, and that's just a handful of them. There's so many more lives that have been lost that was unnecessary, because we are taking permanent actions to temporary feelings, because it's how you feel at that moment. You feel hopeless. You feel like it doesn't matter that I have a wife and kids. I mean, look at this man. He had beautiful wife, beautiful children, and a bank account that probably could take care of everybody on the line plus some. But none of that matters when you're going through. So just remember that when we're seeking things, materialistic things, that's not going to bring us true happiness. It's got to come from within. So, Calissa, what else you got to say over there? I'm putting myself on mute.
I think you just said something. One thing we need to add is stop putting expectations on people. I think looking at Twitch's life, everyone expected him to be happy. Everyone expected him to love his wife, love his kids. But we put those expectations on people, and the world expects us to live up to that. And when we don't, that's when the depression and the mental illness and suicide occurs, because of the expectations we put on people.
So hang on. I'm
That,
so
that
glad you said that. I'm so glad you
that's
said it.
something we need to stop.
Yes, because I remember I was going through something. I can't even remember now. It was earlier this year, and I was told you can't be like that. You sunshine. Wait, hold up. What? No, you Miss Sunshine, and you can't be all like that, or you shouldn't
Mm,
be fine doing A, B, or C. And it's like, why would you say that? Like, allow people to have those ups and downs and ins and outs, because that's part of
mhm.
being human. That's part of being alive. It's part of life. And so, that's really what, like I said earlier, that's what is influential and impactful, is when you can be transparent, when you can let people know that you're having a bad day, when you can let people know that you just slung your chair and out the front door, you know, that you're human, you know, or whatever the case may be, that you just got it in that self fee at the bank, whatever situation it is. Why can't we just normalize being for real and stop making people feel like they have to stand up, live up to this standard, this expectation that's almost unrealistic? Because when you
Mhm.
saw him, he was always smiling. So that's not realistic anyway. Like nobody is always smiling, but before the camera, he was always smiling. Like it's almost like
Mhm.
he. So the only time he probably wasn't when he was in his bathroom, because anywhere else there was a camera on him. So in the privacy of his own home or somewhere is probably when he really got into his feelings. And we're just making assumptions. So I'm just going to say, for me, I know that earlier this year, that's what somebody told me. And it's like, you can't do that to somebody, because even sunshine, you know, rain comes. There are rainy days. The sun might be hiding behind some of the clouds, but the rain is at the forefront and the clouds do come. And do they last? No. But it does happen. And so you're right. I'm so glad that you said that, because I had really forgotten about that incident. And I've heard it more than once though. Like, girl, you miss
Yeah,
sunshine.
and
I'm to
I
you to
think
when
for leaders, we're put on this scope, and maybe Pastor Connie can um, chime in on that. That we're put on a scope and a standard that we have to be a certain way, and we're not supposed to
Hold
have
on.
bad days either.
You are
But
so right.
that's something we need to normalize. Pastors, leaders, we're gonna have a bad day. We're gonna have, like you said, might be dealing with our families and children. We need to show that to our people. If we don't, they're gonna keep thinking, oh, they're okay. We
yeah.
expect them to be okay. We expect them to say this and say that. That's something we need to stop as well.
Whew, you ain't lying. What you gotta say, I almost call you Mamiti. What you gotta say, Mamiti?
That is so true. I'm one. I smile. And Selena, you said something so powerful. When you think you could trust someone, and then you really can't trust them, and because you get things back, and you're not supposed to be like that. You're a preacher. You're supposed to be strong. And I only have a core group of people that I can really cry to. You're one of them. I have cried many days and nights, and I get back up and start smiling again. But you have to have that core, and it's okay. My dog is barking. I'm going on mute.
Yeah. Look, puppy dog want to be on camera. He want to be on the show. He got something to say too. Well, this has been an amazing show for me. I was determined to make sure that it happened before the end of the month. I want to thank Kalissa for her professional advice. I want to thank Pastor Connie for her spiritual and personal experiences, and also Vanessa for her powerful testimony, for sharing that with us tonight. That has been like, I mean, a testimony in the making. And I'm so glad that she felt comfortable and confident to share that on tonight. So if you need help, I'm going to put this back up on the screen, because they've made it even easier now for you to reach out to help. Before it was like 741 and something else, something else. Now it's just 3 digits, 988, to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. So 988, if you can remember that, don't forget it. Dial it if you ever need help. If you're in a situation where someone else need help, dial that number. Don't be afraid to do that, because you could save someone's life. And please, please call and check on your strong friends. Call and check on anyone that drops in your spirit. We think about somebody and they're heavy on our hearts. Mamita called me, Pastor Connie, she called me the other day. She said, you just been on my mind. I said, I could tell you why, because Sunshine been over here going through. So I'm glad that God put me on her mind, because again, people think that you don't have stuff going on, but we all do. So let's keep that in mind. Let's be there for one another. Let's learn how to keep our mouths shut. If someone shares something with us, it's not your place to go and spread it like you want to be so excited to be the one spreading the news. Let's normalize keeping things private. It's okay. Keep things to yourself sometimes, unless they're talking about harming themselves or harming someone else. That is when you should go get help. But if they're just talking to you in in a confidential situation, keep that information there. Okay. Again, you could save somebody's life, because when things get out, do you notice that's when people start committing suicide? When people find out they've embezzled money, they go commit suicide. When people find out they're about to be exposed with something else, it's exposure that people want to go and take their life. So don't always go run tell things, because you could be the cause of someone saying, I can't take this. I can't do this anymore, because of the fear of the judgment of someone else. And no one has a heaven or hell to put you in. So don't worry about what they say. It's a temporary situation, and don't take a permanent solution to it. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have final words, or we close out?
One more thing. If you are dealing with any mental illness, go to your local office or the local hospital. They can connect you to the clinics and the right places to get the necessary help. So don't discount. Services are out there, resources are out there, clinics are out there. You just have to make that step, go to your local hospital, ask where the nearest mental health clinic is, and they will direct you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And mental health is just as important as your physical health, as your spiritual health. That's what we're here to tell you tonight. It is your health. It is you. It's your health. And so we always say mental health, but we need good mental health, because there's good mental health and then there's not so good mental health. I don't want to call it bad mental health, but then there's unhealthy mental health, if that makes sense. So let's take care of ourselves and do things that help us in that area. Taking some of the stress off, taking walks, eating healthy. What else is good for your mental health? Going to the doctor, checking on your mental health. What's something else, y'all, that's good for me? Journaling, going to church. Help me out. Name something else that's good for mental health.
Dancing, singing.
Yes.
Yes, all of those things are great for your mental health. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get off here and go dance. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go to Twitch, because man, I tell you, I done fell in love with the man. I'm like, Lord have mercy.
Yes.
I hate that
Yes.
for them. But y'all have an
Yes.
amazing night. Thank you all so much. I apologize for the tardiness, but we did this, and we're going to do it again on next Sunday night. I'm not really sure what the topic's going to be. Maybe we can get back to atomic habits, but if anything comes up in the meantime, we might have to change it, because this is important. This right here is what Conversation with Selena is about: inspiration, motivation, and information. And so tonight was definitely informative. So y'all go be blessed, go share a smile, and spread some stuff.
Woohoo.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank y'all so much.